Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about using a rangefinder versus mill scopes. Okay, so if you look over here, I've got two scopes that both have mill lines in them. I also have a rangefinder, and in front of me over there I have the edge of JFK Airport. Okay, so let me zoom you guys in, take you up to 10 power. Okay, so if you look at that bridge over there, okay, if you look under the left half of that bridge, you'll see like what appears to be a white line. Now it's pretty far away, so you're not going to see it like perfectly focused, but that is an airplane, a full-size commercial airplane. I could tell because when I zoomed in it with one of the scopes, I could see that it had it had somewhere like 40 windows. Okay, now you can't see all the windows, but you can kind of tell the difference between 20 windows and 40 windows when you look at these airplanes. Okay, so that is a full-size commercial airplane. I'll back up over here. So that means that its length is about 220 feet long. Okay, some are a little bit longer, like some go up to like 220 feet, 225 feet, some are like 210 feet, 250. We're going to say that we're going to average it out to about 220 feet long, and that's going to be really important when it comes time to trying to mill it out and see how far away it is. Okay, so I did try using the rangefinder, this guy right over here. Okay, so I ran into a couple of problems. Okay. The first problem I have is that airplane, hope this guy doesn't park directly in front of me. Okay, that airplane out there is beyond the capability of my rangefinder. My rangefinder only goes out to about 1,400 yards, and that is more than 1,400 yards. I was able to put the rangefinder on that bridge, and that bridge is at about 900 yards. Okay, so the bridge is within the capability of my rangefinder, but I know that the airplane behind it is not going to be. Now, initially, when you look at it, you might be like, well, maybe it's pretty close to it. Okay, but it's not. See, part of the problem is when you're looking at something that's far away like that, it's very hard to lose track of, to lose perspective. Okay, so I'll tell you guys up front. I see a big bald head over here. I'll tell you guys that after already having used the mill scope on that airplane is at about 4,800 yards, so almost 3 miles, or something like, I think it was like 2.8 miles or something. Okay, but the bridge that's in front of it, I mean, you really can't. You think that it's right behind the bridge, so what's likely to happen is you take a reading with your rangefinder. Your rangefinder tells you that it's at 900 yards, and you're like, oh, well, the airplane is just a little bit behind that. Well, that's not the case. It's a lot behind. It's a lot more behind. Let me zoom you guys back out. All right, so again, in this video, we're going to be talking about the different, like the pros and cons. Not even the pros and cons, the strengths and weaknesses of using the mill scope versus the rangefinder. Rangefinder is really nice when you got something that's like kind of standing by itself. The first issue that I would have, even if that airplane was within my capability, is that because the airplane is directly underneath the bridge and so close, one of the things that I have found is that a lot of times you're looking at the airplane, you think that you're getting a reading on that, but you're in fact getting a reading of the bridge. Okay, so initially, before I milled out the airplane, when I tried to take a reading of the airplane, and I was getting a reading back, right? It was telling me it was something like, I don't know, 900 or so yards, but what was happening is, even though I was pointing it at the airplane, the reading that I was getting was really of the bridge. Okay, so that's one of the issues that you're going to have with rangefinders, is that when you have a lot of different things that things are clustered close together, you think you're getting a reading of one thing, and it ends up being a reading of something else. Okay, so that's definitely a situation where you want to use the mill scope, if nothing else, just to verify that you're looking at the right thing. Okay, So that's the first issue I have. Second issue I had, because I'm in here inside of my truck. So the rangefinder, I mean, you can get readings from behind glass, like when I was pointing it at these cars over here, and the garbage cans. I was getting a reading, okay, because the signal. Because here's the thing: when the laser goes through the glass, it loses, some of it gets reflected back, and then when it comes back the other way, it gets reflected back. So up here, up close, okay, I was getting a reading, but when I tried to put it on that bridge over there, it wouldn't give me a reading at all, right? Because it was just too much of the signal was being lost through the glass, going out and then coming back in. So that's another issue, another limitation of the rangefinder, if you have to be looking through glass. Now, you might ask the question, well, first of all, why am I so far, and why am I sitting in my car, okay, or my truck in this case? Why am I sitting in my truck? Well, here's the thing: I'm outside of JFK, and first of all, realistically speaking, you may have to do some observation from some distance, okay? And if you're gonna basically be observing something, chances are, like, you don't want to be out in the open, okay? You want to be looking at something with maybe some other things in between you and whatever you're looking at, because the same way that bridge is kind of making it a little bit harder for us to see that airplane clearly. Well, if somebody's trying to observe back at us, basically that bridge is also kind of providing some cover for us, okay? So just like that bridge obscures or gives us a little bit of difficulty in looking out there and seeing that airplane, that bridge, right, that object that's between us, is also kind of providing some, I don't know, camouflage or cover for us, okay? So that's the reality of it. You may not be able to get to a wide open position where you can take an easy reading, okay? You may have to do it, with some obstacles in the way. I mean, I can still see the airplane end to end, but enough of the bridge is in there that even if my rangefinder was strong enough to go all the way out there and I wasn't looking through glass, I mean, it's a good chance that it would be like, I'd be getting a reading of the bridge, okay? So now this, let me zoom back out. Today, in doing this little project here, it kind of it ended up being very realistic in the sense that, okay, I'm in this parking area over here across from the airport, okay? So here's the thing: if I was like out in the open with what is clearly a rifle scope, okay, I may not want to be drawing that type of attention, right? So as I'm sitting here in this parking lot, what happened earlier, as I was sitting here, with the camera, just doing some observation, a police car came in here, took a turn around. I would have been in a very awkward position if they had, or I could have possibly been in an awkward position if they saw me with a rifle scope, okay, a military rifle scope, basically, outside of JFK, in New York City. Between these two scopes, this one's $1,500, this one's like $450. With the mounts, it's like $1,600 and like almost like $550. Basically, I've got more than like $2,000 worth of scope here. I really would hate to lose these scopes, because if especially in New York City police, if they see these scopes, they're gonna say, "Oh, gun guy," they're gonna basically take the scopes. I'll never see them again, and the reason is because they're just gonna take them. They're gonna assume that I'm up to something no good, and what's gonna happen is, in order for me to get them back, I'd have to basically petition a judge. I'd have to get a lawyer, because in New York City here, it would end up costing me more than $2,000 to get these scopes back. Okay, so that's another realistic situation here, where I needed to, because I'm next to an airport here, presumably they got cameras on this area. I needed to do this in such a way that I can't easily be seen, right? And doing it from inside of my truck with the scopes laying low over here, just bringing them up when I need to use them. It's just a realistic exercise. Let's put it that way. Okay, that's what this turned into. Okay, so basically, that's pretty much some ideas as to why you would want to have both of these. You want to have the rangefinder, but in a realistic world type of situation, you would also want to have scopes with mill lines, because the rangefinder, for a number of reasons, may not give you an accurate reading all the way out there. Let me pause this camera for a second. We'll talk to you about some other things.